Joining us now is our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Rob, the military in Sudan is clearly in control right now, but we're also seeing some very strong opposition. Not everything is happening in the military's favor, is it?
Yeah, I think that's right, Monty. It depends really very much by what you mean by in control. Certainly they hold the levers of power at the moment. Does that mean they're able to control the direction in which the country is going? Almost certainly not, I would say, at this time. They appear to have very little control of the street. Although at present there aren't any huge demonstrations taking place, but there's a massive demonstration planned for Saturday called the March of the Millions. And given the level of support that we've seen so far from the trade unions, from doctors, from businesses, shops and so on, it seems likely that there will be a big turnout when it comes to Saturday. The level of organisation of the opposition seems to be pretty strong, and there seems to be some degree of surprise on the part of the military authorities that they haven't managed to control the situation as rapidly as they'd have liked. The arrests do not seem to have brought the opposition to the military to a stop. They've been forced effectively to release Abdullah Hamdok, the Prime Minister, and perhaps that points to uncertainty inside the military ranks, uncertainty too, and a sense that they've miscalculated, that they were expecting there to be greater support for the military. Bear in mind that there have been demonstrations over the last few weeks against the transition government. The military may have been lulled into thinking that translated into support for a military takeover. If that was their calculation, it appears they've miscalculated.
Well, as you mentioned, we're seeing massive protests inside the country, but what about international reaction? We've seen the suspension of aid from several entities, including, the World Bank. Will that make a difference?
I think it's quite likely that it will make a difference. Again, there appears to be an element of miscalculation on the part of the military authorities. Maybe they thought that if they effected the coup rapidly, established firm control rapidly, that the international community, after a couple of days of protest, would step into line and that would be the end of that. As it happens, though, they haven't managed to establish control. That's given plenty of time for the international community to react. And the response has been very firm in the direction of the military authorities and in support of the ousted transitional government. Critically, the World Bank, which only last March accepted Sudan back into the international financial arrangements, laid on the possibility of $2 billion of loans, has frozen its support for Sudan, just as the United States froze the other day $700 million of aid. The European Union has backed up against the military leadership. The African Union critically has suspended Sudan from its membership. So the position for the military authorities is a delicate one, very difficult for them to deal with at the moment. It does open them, I would suggest, to the possibility of persuasion, to force them back into negotiations with the civilian authorities again, and for a compromise to be reached.
Okay, our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Rob, thanks for your analysis as always.